Good evening, guys, or good day. Glad I'm on time. Was a busy day, so good to see all of you already here again. Hey, what's good, welcome, Paolo, welcome, and I am missing someone, Sebastian, welcome. Gulshan, good to see you again, welcome as well. Good to see all of you. Just a check. I know I didn't change the pigment number yet, but let's see what we're going to do. Missing someone, Sebastian. Welcome. Gulshan, good to see you again. Welcome as well. Just to check. Video, audio, is everything okay? I didn't change the pigment number yet, but let's see what we're going to do. Missing someone, Sebastian. Welcome. Gulshan, good to see you again. Welcome. If it's not, I really can't change it now. It was a bit rushed. Couldn't get everything finished on time, or actually could just by minute. So I am glad I'm here. And you were as well. Not, I really can't change it now. So in the meantime, I'm just going to think, I guess, what we are finished on time or going to do. Let's have a look if that is correct. So I am glad I'm here. Or if there's anything we can do. And you were as well. Not, I really can't change it now. So in the meantime, I'm just going to think, I guess, what we are finished on time or going to do. Let's have a look if that is correct. Let's have a look if this is better. So in the meantime, I'm just going to think, I guess, what we are finished on time or going to do. Let's have a look if that is correct. Let's. Oh, that might be it. I think this just solved it. I did have a browser open and it was waiting on my live. But my system sound is off, so I don't hear anything what you're hearing, which is quite inconvenient. But this should have solved the issue. Did it? Ah, thank you. Good. That's enough. That's enough. One is enough. Thank you, Paolo. It was exactly that. Okay, let's get started. Let's have a look what we are going to do today. Since I've been out today, haven't been in my studio yet, so I could make room for everything just in time. But as you can see, the pigment number of last week is still on the board, and I'm not going to make that today. So let's see what we are going to make today. We could make a lovely quinacridone burnt orange PO48 for a change. Although we did do an orange last time, or at least the week before that, which is fine. So that is one option. Another option, something greenish, or bluish, reddish, violetish, earthish. Any suggestions? So, what's Chris? PL48 is okay with you. I think Paolo, it's since an orange. I'm just, guessing, but I think you're okay with it as well. Shall put this onto work, since we are at work right now. Let's have a look. PY 119 PBR 33. Oh, that's also an interesting one. Let's see if I can quickly change the pigment number. We can change this, right? Of course it won't. Why would it change? Ah, thank you, Paolo. Blue is interesting as well. You know what? I really like PO48, and I'm going to save this maybe for another time. No, definitely for another time. I want to try a yellow. No, not a yellow. You suggested something else. I should listen as well. PY 119. What is in 119 again? Oh, it opens up on this screen. Oh, that's fine too. PY 11119. Spinel orange in my list. At least that's what it is. Or spinal orange. That's what it says in my list, the pigment that I have. For a blue, what kind of blue, Gulchen? You're working with a dark blue ink right now. JE, hello back from the Netherlands. And Mr. Pigments, welcome as well. You should try PB 128. Do I have that one? Let's have a look. You're not going in that. I don't have anything above PB 86. What do you mean? I mean, I asked you which pigments don't you think I don't have, or do you think I don't have? I don't have that. What is it? I can just look it up. You're probably quicker, but there's nothing above PB 86, right? Is there? Artistpigments.org doesn't have it either, so I believe him in this case. Basalt, but isn't basalt just, you know, a non-applicable pigment, an Na? Not. I mean, I believe you. I totally believe you, but blue pigments. It is there. It is on Artist Creation. Cooled lava rock. I do have basalt. I do have cooled lava rock in my collection, but I can see it. Yeah. Just quickly make some Frangelico. Well, I can make paint out of it, out of the pigment I have. I can't make the pigment quickly. And I don't know if you've been here before, JE, but I do some nasty ASMR grinding here, which isn't ASMR at all. It's just a lot of noise. Believe me, the brass pestle and mortar I have for my lapis pigment process is a lot worse than that. So I'm not going to do that. It's Ferris Wheel Press Celestial Soirée ink for those curious. I don't know that. You have no idea what I have or don't have. No, I know you don't. But there are times that I say I don't have something. You have an acre of cooled lava rock, Mark. Welcome as well. I'm fresh out of fresh lava rock. I'm sorry, a watercolorist. I left it. I left the jar open, so you know it dried out. Cool down. I don't know. You do know you have a lot of things I don't, because you collect a wider selection than I do. I don't know if you collect a wider selection, maybe you're open for a wider. There's some things I don't have, don't want to have. Like I passed on the. I think it was one of you in the chat here from the Netherlands, by the way. And I don't know if it's Shugul-chan or maybe someone else. I came across a lovely collection of uranium pigments on Marketplace a while back. And I passed on that. They were lovely. It was an orange, yellow, green, typical nuclear radiation color things you would see in a cartoon, for instance. But yeah, I do have PB17. You know what PB17 now? Yes, yeah, I do have PB17. But last time we did a cyan, it didn't came across that nice. But we can do PB17. It's a blue. It's something from the chat, so why not? Yeah, uranium, and I know you wanted those pigments, Mr. Pigment, but those wouldn't have passed the customs at all. Like not even this border. They wouldn't have. They wouldn't have left our shore. So I don't have any permit to ship those kind of things. Yeah, so that would have been too difficult or just impossible for me to ship them your way. And it was just too, you know, the only thing I know of radiation and uranium is that it emits particles. It just constantly emits particles, which is radiation. And I don't want that stuff here. That's just something, you know, I was really interested and I thought, oh, this is something unique, and I won't come across something like this any other way or day or time. But there's a reason for that. So I followed my gut feeling in this, that it's off limits for me. PB17. Let's have a look. I might have a jar over here. This is PB33, right away. And PB17, which looks quite similar. But do you want to store them? I mean, I could probably ask around and get at least, you know, those were jars full of this, and one cap was even missing. You know, I've showed them to you, I think. But a jar like this, even a jar like this, you know, I could get that with some asking around, probably, but still I wouldn't want it. Natural Pigments told me they can no longer source Maya Blue PB82. Well, PB82 is actually something they can make themselves. They probably know that. It's Maya Yellow and Maya Red, Maya Green, which are more difficult. I'm not waiting for fresh lava, and also with that, depending on how fresh it is, I really think it can pass the customs. PB17. I'm just going to change the pigment number in screen here. No, it doesn't. And I really don't know why. JE Mayan Blue is quite easy to make with Palygorskite and Indigo pigment. And I'm not saying this like because I have experience with it. I don't. But I've seen it, and I've seen people do it, make it. But the original supplier of the Mayan pigments, which was called MayaPigments.Inc, I think it was. They stopped existing in 2017, I think. Thank you, Mark. I know you feel this way, and next time I'm sending you a bigger pen or more of it. PB17 has some beautiful qualities, which are quite rare nowadays. It's a cyan. It's a, I think it's a pure cyan in paint. This is a PB33 from last week, which is also a cyan, but it's a granulating one. This one is more staining, but non-granulating. I can tell you, I think Natural Pigments wasn't one of them. Not the one that I was suspicious about. I don't know what's coolest, if there are any indigenous people who still make Mayan blue that way. I know Palygorskite is used since it's a clay that has a tube-like structure. So think nanotubes, and because of the tube, the structure of a tube, do I have a tube here? Nothing of the sorts here, nothing. Think this is a tube and this end is open as well. The dye gets trapped within the tube and outside the tube, so it's more surface area. But you know, the structure makes it more light fast. Rick Age, that is correct. There is a video of me doing that for my own pigment on my channel. Thing with PB17, it is not very hydrophobic, but it acts in a way like a quinacridone magenta, for instance, does, or a pyrrole crimson. Which are both quite hydrophobic, but these are lumping together. I mean, it's like this. It looks quite smooth, but if I start doing this, you see that grittiness. That grittiness inside that paint. You see the grittiness, right? It is something I come across with hydrophobic pigments as well. This one isn't hydrophobic, but shows those characteristics. those funny little traits it has as a pigment. JE, I don't know. I don't. It would be an honor if companies like that would have seen my video. So it would be nice, but I don't think. I think, you know, just someone like me having that experience, feeling a pigment just literally between the fingers and working with it, and seeing so much difference between ones that I really am sure of is real, because for one I made one, and the other reason is that everything else looks like that which I made, and one isn't. I think, you know, knowing that there are people that are far more experienced or wiser or more knowledgeable about pigments than I am. I don't know. I don't think they could have missed that. It could be true. It could be true. But thinking about the entire way how Jackson's art a couple of years ago asked a certain brand, I'm just going to leave it at that, about their mineral watercolors, their genuine mineral watercolors, and the way they responded to Jackson's, not the way they responded on Instagram. That, you know, if you know, you know. But the way they respond to Jackson's, which was a very similar response, was quite mind-blowing for me. It was no insight into why there is such a difference, or how it would be possible to see what people saw or experienced with the paints. There's no transparency at all when it came to the communication. So I don't think getting a feedback from customers, you know, on just a video of a small YouTuber who's rambling about pigments and is mulling by hand would make a difference. Ah, now you named it. Yes, that one. Yes. But there's nothing, literally nothing. I would be the luckiest handmade paint maker alive, I think, if I came somewhere near the success and the loyalty of customers of certain brands. I would be, it's pure envy. Full respect for them as a brand, as, you know, or other brands, multiple brands. But I think transparency in especially issues like that brought by a wider audience, I think they should be handled with respect towards your customers as well. And for me, it felt like that was kind of missing. Yeah, JE, it's true, but please, I know based on their followers, World Pigment Day, and it's, I think, Rough Siddle that was behind that post. I'm not sure. There's two ladies behind World Pigment Day. Don't underestimate who she is. It's not an Instagram account. It's literally one of the authors of this beast, the Pigment Compendium, which is massive and is massive. So it's not just someone who said that. Yes, Paolo, I know. How dare they? And yeah, Mark, I do mean telling the truth. That's funny, Paolo. Yes, thank you, a watercolorist. Ivan Van, is that how you pronounce it? 37. I might be interested in the PDF, The Hunt for Mayan Violet, revisiting the synthesis and properties of ancient pigments. I'll have a look. Thank you. Thank you, Jay. I don't know if for the real, the OG followers, not even on YouTube, I'm talking Instagram here. I've started a Pigment Fact Friday a few years back. And it was a series of stories on Instagram about a certain pigment number, so PB17 for instance, and then viewing my own pictures on the stories with a little bit of background information, usage information, and it went quite well. But it was a weekly thing, and I couldn't make it a weekly thing anymore like this. Luckily, I can do this now because I wanted to post it. It had to be before midday-ish because of my kids. Need to pick them up from school, and there was a lot of things, paint making and 3D printing, which I've already started, but doing a little bit more custom pens for people, my own pens, designing the things, looking for where do I want my brand or look and feel, my dirty blue to be. And I couldn't make it weekly anymore. And then Jackson's Art started their pigment stories with Evie Hatch, which are brilliant. But that was it was my kind of the essence, the idea of what I had behind the stories, which I wanted to implement into little videos. And I didn't do any informative reels yet, just entertaining reels, 3-6 second paint making videos, and that went so crazy well how Jackson's did that. And there's no envy here, it's just respect. There's a little bit of envy made now, I don't know. It's a big brand with a production team, and they have done that well, and they executed it very well. I really like their studio style, how they do the lighting, and I would have taken kind of a different approach. It's an approach which sometimes kind of finds a balance between pigment nerdiness, which is being shared here, and art history or art historic facts, or you know, fun to know things, the did you knows. For me, it would have been more pigment nerdiness and less about artists, I think. But I think that's the thing that makes it theirs and sets it apart as well. And I now notice that Blick Studio, or Dick Blick, I don't know how it's called on Instagram, is doing those kind of videos as well, or at least something like that. So I really like. I don't think I've started it with Pigment Pack Friday, but I gave it a nudge in the right direction, I think. And I'm not even sure that Jackson's ever saw them, or someone who followed Jackson's or is affiliated with Jackson's ever saw them. But I like to think that sharing pigment information, getting more people enthusiastic about it, and more people doing it, creates a fantastic environment for us. Those were a lot of words for very little information, I think. But you get what I mean. Rick, another book to buy if I can. I think I really don't get the sense. I need to read that back later, because it's kind of disappeared out of my chat window in OBS here. I might do that, JE. I don't know. Thanks though. I really appreciate it. I'm going to look into it. Or you know, the videos I make now are, since I'm monetized and I'm thinking income. I'm thinking, you know, need to get bread on the table things, which a production studio behind the Jackson's videos isn't thinking like that. Obviously, they think a little bit commercial, but I think in a completely different way than I do when I need to spend time on something. When I'm making a video, it means I can't make paint, I can't pack, I can't chip. When I'm editing, it means I'm not making paint, and I'm not promoting or doing anything. I'm one thing at a time, literally. I can't make paint and edit. I wish I could. So I make my videos about, try to make it be between 4 and 7 minutes ish, maybe longer, so I can get 2 ads in my video, which is a weird thing to think about, but when you look into the YouTube monetization, it just works that way. If your video is longer than 8 minutes, it means you get an ad in between, somewhere in the video, instead of just, you know, at the beginning. And you know, videos of that length, are they still interesting? You know, if you were talking about one pigment in my style, showing how it's made. That's one thing I do miss sometimes when we're talking about pigments. They show pictures of the pigment. What I really like, but that's because literally that's all I do. I miss the making paint part. This is the pigment, and this is how it looks when it's worked, you know, with a palette knife into a binder. And then a muller or whatever is used. So about PB17, not the most excellent light fast pigment there is. Some are quite fugitive, some are a little less so, which has been used as a dye even in printer ink, I think. But phthalo-cyan is a way cheaper alternative. Phthalo-cyan with a lot of filler or whites, but in white it's not the case for inks, but in paints it is. So white and a little bit of phthalo blue makes a decent cyan. Now I started about this pigment with what I think is the perfect cyan, and PB33 is its granulating brother. Now I know at least one of you thinks that PG50 is the perfect cyan. PG50 cobalt turquoise or cobalt teal. And I think we've talked about this a couple of times already. I think PG50, the cobalt teal that I sell, is a perfect cyan, as if you would color drop this in Photoshop. So Photoshop RGB cyan for me is a different. I know you like PG50. RGB has a different cyan than pigments do. Now I know you meant to shout the PG50A watercolors. It's okay. No one blames you. But I think there lies a slight distinction between digital cyan and physical cyan. I'm going to have a look. I'm going to do it after I finish this, so I can work a little bit cleaner or more clean. I'm going to have a look if I can find my swatches, so I can show you the PB 15, 16, 17 and PG 15. So I'm now spraying a bit water since it is getting too sticky for me to work with comfortably. Thank you, Gulchen, that means a lot, and I hear that a lot about this color, and I'm quite happy I acquired some of the pigment back in the day, a while back. I don't know what to say, a while back. Because it's a favorite for quite some people, and I really like to hear that, especially since I'm not painting anymore. The feedback of what are people's favorites and what they do they use it for are always very, very welcome. I try to deliver the highest quality possible, and in the past I noticed that some pigments just don't. Can't make that promise. With those pigments I can make that promise, because I found them unreliable from the source that I had, or because they were just disappointing for what they were. PG18, for instance, the one that I have, was an example of that. And I think, I'm not sure if it was you, Gulchen, but I think one of the regular Dutch viewers here during the live had one of my earlier PG18s. And the frustrating thing was, I bought it from one supplier. It worked beautifully, sold that for a while, just a bit, not much. But sold that version no complaints whatsoever. Bought a new jar, and those were small jars of PG18. And the first one I sold literally because it was a Dutch customer. It was delivered the next day, and the first feedback I had, it wasn't reactivating at all. And that was such a bummer. And I've talked about that before, and I made the new PG18 here in the live as well. No, it wasn't you then. It was, to be honest, it was a few years ago. 2.5 years ago, I think. And I just stopped making PG18 for 2 years, I think. I just stopped selling it. Sebastian, you were the first one here. Also, if you're watching, and I know I should have said, there were way more people here for a little while. Please, if you're entering the chat or if you're entering here anyway, don't forget to like the live stream. It, all the little bits, I would like to believe, help. I'm not making PY 128. Yeah, that's like might be obvious. PB 17. Thank you, JE. Mark was here, at least he was here. I think he still is, I'm not quite sure actually. Also, I know from a couple of you that you watch this on your television, from your television. Is that correct? Am I saying this correct? I don't know. I noticed that you can watch the live chat now on your television, which I couldn't for a while. Noticed that a while back. And I like that. I've briefly, I'm going to come back at that. I briefly saw the pictures, and it looks very, 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 very promising. But I really need to catch up on messages because I've had a couple of very busy days, which weren't anywhere near existing online. So I'm going to catch up on that. I might be able to share a picture of it here, Mark. Just going to have a quick look if I can. Oh wow, wow! This looks very good. No, I definitely didn't see this one yet. Definitely didn't see this one yet. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the fourth batch that Mark. Do you is it okay to show this? To show the plaque of pigment with the cracks in it drying. Well, this is the picture that Mark showed me. I'm just going to put it on full screen. Look at this. That really looks amazing. So Indian yellow with an entire process, and I can go into the chat too much here. But with an entire self-thought-out process by Mark to do it urine and cow-free, make Indian yellow from mango leaves. Indian yellow as a color. Obviously, you're not making the real, the genuine, you know, what we think of cow urine Indian yellow, but there are, I think, 15 or 20 Indian yellow named pigments or mixes, which are all chemical, and this is almost fully natural. So, yeah, hats off to you, I think. It looks incredible. I think, oh, excuse me, I think that I just saw mango leaf yellow. I think it's missing something still. Yes, that's the essence of it. Oh, that's disgusting, Sebastian. Still, although if it gives an even better result, I still want to try to make paint out of it. That's just so weird. I've made paint out of weirder stuff. Mark is quite the artist himself as well. I mean, I've seen what he can do with my colors and other colors, obviously, but so I don't know if you were answering this. This is just what Mark has showed me. At least these things are just pigments. A pigment paste that is drying. And it doesn't have any plasticizer or humectants or gum arabic in it yet. That is to happen when he makes paint with it. Ryder, welcome. Rick, what do you mean with that? I have no clue. J.E., you are welcome. And again, Ryder, I know I said it before, but welcome. So I am going to have a quick look if this is okay enough. Sebastian, since you know Instagram is open there, I'm going to come back to you about the about your message as well. just going to have a look or if this is anywhere near finished, since it's drying out quite quickly. And with drying out, I mean it gets pasty very, very quickly. So that is not even catching. It's so pasty that's like just sticks on my scraper here. And that is about perfect. So I'm going to leave it at that. That's the only thing I'm missing here at YouTube is it's not, it doesn't have like private messaging or anything like that. You know, you always need to contact via email or Instagram or something like that, which is a complete different company. So, you know, Meta, you're doing great with that, but Google, please pay attention because they do. They are going to add a community tab corner thing here next year within YouTube. So this community here could have something, you know, like I think it's something like Reddit. Everyone can post stuff and react on it. I don't know. I made a Discord channel, but as with a lot of other stuff, I really didn't have time to moderate that or set it up correctly or anything like that, or look at it enough even. I mean, it's getting much. It's getting a lot, and it's not too much, but I wanna have a focus. And YouTube and a Discord is, you know, it's a good combination. But I was kind of doing Instagram a lot at one time, gained a lot of followers, and it didn't, you know, it didn't give me any more customers or followers here or whatever. It was just, I noticed, you know, Instagram had a while that when you had a decent reel, which went viral. I mean, I could say viral, 20 million views on one of the reels, with, you know, no change in anything but followers. I'd love to piggyback of your Discord. Also, if you don't blame me if I'm not active at all or too much, yeah. JE, have you ever worked? Because I think I noticed that you mentioned it a couple of times. Have you ever worked with genuine Indian yellow before? Let's just make my Discord active again. Or do that, Mr. Pigments, which is also fine. But we need to have a look. You know, what would you need? For those of you interested in the Discord, please let me know what would you need in a Discord for this community, like for this here. And everyone who's not interested in it, please just continue chatting what you were doing, or just, you know, whatever you were doing. Okay. No, it is very smelly, and I don't know if you've seen it or heard it. Wow, seen it or heard it. No matter in what kind of form your Indian yellow is, whether it is a ready-made watercolor or a pigment, or it always has that smell. So if you're ever in doubt if this is real Indian yellow, you don't have to have a microscope, you don't have to have the pigment compendium to see the real thing or know how to research. You just smell it. It's super easy. There was a microphone over there. Why am I even go or whatever? The idea of that I really like, Ryder. That's why I really love that YouTube is actually putting effort into making a community tab to channels or within channels, so we can do that here. There's like a community tab, but you know, I can post stuff, pictures, and you can react on it, or polls or whatever. But the fact that you can post as well, by then it's, yeah. Wait, okay, Mark, you're saying you used mango leaves, nothing else, and our whole house stinks like urine. Peculiar. Okay, let's make a dirty blue tab in your Discord, Mr. Pigment. Sentient tent just convinced me. Yeah, but that's what Ryder, that's what YouTube is going to do. So they're literally like going to make like at least that's what I got out of that, a subreddit for a channel, if you know what I mean. Let's put this into pens. Let's see if we still have some pens to fill, by the way. PB17. Those are just 2 small pens. Needed a refill. I want empty pens as well. Talking to myself again. Oh, you don't mind, do you? Let's have a look. Where is PB17? There it is. PB17. Yeah, leaves just, you know, put to rest in water. That can smell really bad. It's not urine-like. More like sewer-ish. Rotting smell. It's really bad. For instance, my daughters wanted to make a perfume a while back. Well, I think it was during the last days of summer-ish days here. So they put an old bucket, empty bucket in the garden, and filled it with water, some flower petals in it, some leaves, some lavender and stuff like that. And they left it. They put a frisbee on top of it because, you know, otherwise the cat would drink it or something like that. Well, I took that frisbee off not so long ago. Wasn't pretty. The smell was pretty bad. They forgot about it too, you know, it's not like it was a secret treasure that was kept or something like that. It was just quite terrible. Ryder, no, I know. I've said that before. I couldn't change it. I don't know why it doesn't work, but it doesn't work. Okay, so I know. We are mulling PB17 here today. Maybe I should just go old school, and instead of thinking, you know, because it doesn't work, I'm just writing it down here on the bottom with a marker or something like that. Gulchen, I know, but I've done that a long time ago before, and a long time ago as well, and I know, but that's maybe just my childhood saying that to me, but I know some of them actually smell really good. But maybe that's just, you know, the childhood memory that makes that up for me. I don't know. Sebastian, if you manage to get that Indian yellow, and Mark might beat you to it, I'm really I can't wait to try things out, guys, really. I've never made any lake pigments as well. I've looked at videos of them a lot. Just looking at videos of people making them, and you know, out of cabbage and onion skins and things like that. Just fascinating color changing things of nature. But I never got to the point where I thought, you know, let's do it. Because there was always other stuff on my mind of doing first, or wanting to do first, or trying new things or other things, or improving. I don't know. Always other stuff. Gulchen, you're done with inking. For that as well, I'm not making commercial. This is just something I like, and not have, you know, been. I'm not affiliated with it or have been paid or whatever, but this liquid glove thing, and I know you can get it here, this works wonders for all of my staining pigments. It might work for inks as well. I love those, Rick. During the art academy, my classmates, but we learned a lot of techniques, and the graphics workshop, so for inking and things like that, was always my favorite, and I really regret. Now, I don't think regret is the right word, but I wish I would have tried more there with different techniques and looking deeper into certain techniques. It was all kind of superficial. It was all getting to know something and moving on to the other thing, instead of, you know, only after 2, maybe 3 years, but after 2 years there was enough space, enough room to grow in one direction instead of just wide knowledge. And I really like that department. Well, you know, there's dirty hands here as well. It's not that bad today, but it's a little bit. Oh, that's the only place. Okay, never mind. I'm not complaining. The abrasive soaps work great, and it really depends on what kind of liquid gloves you use. I've tried 3 of them. One was a sample package, one was a little pump kind of bottle that I bought, which does a decent job. And I really love this one. It's just, you know, it works for me. I even like the smells, and you know, maybe fumes. No, no, but secretly maybe yes. I don't know. I wouldn't say I like the fumes though, but hey, watercolorist, what's the time? Yeah, it's for me. It was very early to this morning as well. But if you rewatch it, I'm going to trying to compare the PB 16, 17, 15, PG 50-ish things, and I might even do it with the spectrometer as well. But a good night, and thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. I'm going to swatch this now. I'm going to make sure my brush is clean first, but have a great night, watercolorists. Hope to see you next week. That was clean. Let's just don't forget PB33 in those swatch tests. Why is it this is more intense than PB33? This isn't correct, guys. This is way more intense. Well, I know it has a slight drying shift, but crazy. Let's try that over here-ish, or maybe over here, so you can look at it as well. Yeah, PB33, PB17. So this is 17, phthalocyan. And I know for people who love this color, this is going to hurt your eyes probably, of me just wiping all this beautiful paint off the slab. Well, like I said, it does have a drying shift, and you can already see it here. It does have a drying shift. See that? So, for those of you who don't know, drying shift is when you put a color down on paper or your canvas or whatever paint you're using, in this case paper, and it dries and it just dulls down. It gets more or less saturated, less intense. A great example of that is PV33. PV23, I'm sorry, Dioxazine Violet, which is a fantastic, marvelous, the best ever violet out there. When you're mulling it, it's black on the slab, and its transparency, it's the purest violet I can think of. And when it dries, it's gray. It's not gray, but it feels gray in compared to what it was. And it's such a shame, and that's why brighteners or things like that are being used in commercial paints to lessen the effect of the drying shift and keep your PV23, for instance, which actually could use that also in my paint. I've bought a brightener, and to try to even haven't put myself to it because I don't want to do that, but try to offer you a PV23 version, and I would call it a PV23 version that just stays a little bit brighter, just stays more violet than the one that I sell now. Do you think we should connect with Ochre and Mother Earth? Don't, okay? Don't do those things over here. PV2062 Strontium Violet. I have had that in my shop update last year, I think. So I make it too. My shop is closed now at the moment. I'm still working on restocking. Manganese Violet. Wait, Rick, another form of shift. Manganese Violet is a meta-mirroring under different lights. This one is not, I believe, not as a manganese violet is. The way they are made is completely different as well. Now my water has dried. Seriously, guys. The distraction I have here during my work is... No, I'm just kidding. But JE, to come back to the Strontium Violet, it is a beautiful one. I've made it in a live a while back when I was still in my old studio, and that was the first time that I made it. And I noticed that when I was making it, it was very similar in all its ways to PV15, Ultramarine Violet. And I said, this is, I can't offer this. This is too similar. And then I put them next to each other and they were completely different. But everything on making it and just how it felt, the granulating, the everything looked like an ultramarine violet. And then I tried my ultramarine violet next to it. It was a completely different look and feel. So I'm still offering it when my shop reopens. Oh no! I grabbed the palette knife without the cloth in between my fingers. Is PV15 also getting discontinued? please send me the source of it or share it over here, because that will be a very, very, very disturbing fact if it is. Literally, I know you can mix something like that with quinacridone, magenta, and PB29. But Ryder, he is talking PV15, pigment violet. So that's ultramarine violet. If you were reacting to that. Sure, Sebastian. Like I just said. Ultramarine violet. I know they are. They have discontinued ultramarine pink, which is PR259. I know they have discontinued that, and there are PV15s that are very similar to PR259. But I do know of that. I don't know enough about oils, Rick, to be able to notice the differences between then and now. I think I can identify a good oil paint if I would try it, but that's just purely based on my pigment knowledge and. Not on my oil paint knowledge, to be completely honest. What I also love about the liquid gloves is they can literally just spray water on my hands and it comes off. Where do I get my cleaning rags? These are actually these are actually things we used for our kids when they were babies. I don't know how they're called in English. And to be honest, I have these things, but I literally just have old t-shirts of mine as well. Oh, how do I clean my rags? Well, I soak these first and get as much color and pigment out of it as possible in my sink here, which has a sink bucket. It's not a sink, but it's like pigment sinks down in the bucket before it goes to the sewer, so it sinks down. A sinking down bucket, I don't know. I get all the pigment out. Luckily, I'm using a water-based binder. Sylvie's welcome. That's okay. That's okay. I'm still here. Or we're still here. I can just, you know, leave and you can still chat. That's fine. I get as much pigment out as possible, and then I just, you know, do everything by hand and then throw them in the washing machine. And it gets the job done. The amount of colored water that just you know, I end up with clear water. I soak them, wash them, you know, wring them. I don't know how you call that. I don't know how you call that. Ivan Van, thank you. Have a great day, and thanks for joining. I do that a couple of times in my sink until I'm left with just, you know, clear, clean, but clear water without any color, without any pigments, just, you know, staying in my sink or sinking down or anything. So I do that. And I catch the pigment to throw that in toxic waste, just, you know, because it's not particularly toxic maybe, but it is something we don't want to have or burn the regular way, I think. I think the PV15 might have been PR259, the ultramarine pink. Because that I do know of, that is being discontinued. Okay, so let's have a look. Do we have PG50, PB33? Okay, those are already two there. Not that, not that, not that. If there's anyone who wants to volunteer as an assistant here, that would be great. You can do my swatches first. I'm sorry, this is terrible. I'm keep running into it every single live stream. I keep running into the is this really PB33, which is so little granulating where this is? I don't believe this is actually. This is PB33, that I do know. It's not even complete anymore. I mean, I'm missing my latest pigments too. I know, and I've literally, Ryder, yes, and I actually made a swatch template a long time ago in the exact size to put them in those, and still and I kept them by color. I know the caps were a mistake, but I kept them by color. But then I get enthusiastic during a live stream, and you know, and then another live stream. And then that pile fell over one day, you know, things happen. PB16. Maybe I'm literally, I don't even know that if I'm paying enough attention, because I might have seen PB15 for instance already. I think I actually have seen PB15 here already. Oh no, you're serious, aren't you? Frangelico. Yes, PB6T. Okay. PB27. It's blue. That's black. That's green. That's blue. Vivinite. No, 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 no. They know what I do for what my work is. They know I would trick them. But still, his robots are still controlled by human beings, so they will still make mistakes, right? I mean, I still would need to instruct them. Allegedly. There's more swatches here. Here, strontium violet. Oh, look at that. PV62. With PV23 and PV15. Because, you know, this was done during a live stream. This is 62, by the way. Proof. PV29, it's slapping your face blue. I don't know if you can actually, if that comes across. I love that color. PV15, there we go. There is need for a PV17, there you go. I actually think this is the same, isn't it? I don't know, I'm just leaving this out. PV60 has, yeah, absolutely, but Gulchen, yes. PV15, as you might know, has even more variations. I mean, it goes from pink to literally unrecognizable as a violet, but so much closer to a blue. Thank you, Paolo. So let's do some sciencey stuff. It's not that sciencey, but I want to make it sound interesting. It is interesting, okay? Let's get the spectrometer. Let's connect the dirty blue NYX to my laptop, because yes, that's its name. I need to do a calibration. Let's do a calibration. Because that does not take a long time. And there we go. Putting it on the calibration devicey thing. Putting in my personal number. Calibrates. It's doing its, I want to have everything correct, so it's doing its calibration. Adding to color bar, yes, I'm going to share my screen as well now too, because why not? And it is small, I know, but let's do, watch out, this is solid metal, so I'm not scared about this, but I'm really scared about my slab breaking. Veronica, welcome. We just made PB17, so not PY129. This is really hard to point at something that isn't there in real life and seeing you there in the corner, which, it's just a floating head as well. But I just made PB17, this one, PB33 from last week. And I'm going to do some swatch readings with the spectrometer. First, I'm going to start with PB15 Phthalo Blue Green shade. And with this, let's do it a little bit bigger here. Can we do, well, this is this cam. Do I like this? I don't know if I like this. Well, we can do it. No, I can't. I'm not going to do it, sorry. So let's just do this. We are looking here at a bump in the, well, in the blues. That just sounds weird. At 450-ish, 470-ish nanometers, the wavelength. Its highest peak. Yes. PV17. This is just showing you the differences, right? So nothing scientific about this. So the peak is a lot less steep. I'm going back to phthalo blue. Here it's a lot steeper here, and it goes down and it stays rather flat. Phthalo cyan, however, has a bump in the red here as well, a little bit more of a bump in the red, and the bump over here is higher as well, with its highest peak at 480. Now going to manganese blue. Rather similar, a little less of a bumpy thing in the reds here. And going back to phthalo cyan with the more bumpy reds, and then the manganese blue with its highest point at 480 nanometers as well. PB16, phthalo turquoise, we're going to scan that in comparison with phthalo cyan. So as you can see, highest point here 490, going way more towards the green and teals here. But it's rather low. This is phthalo cyan, by the way. This is going to be phthalo blue. And this is going to be PV16 phthalo turquoise. So again, very similar. And then we have PG50. This is just way off from, you know, what we just saw. I'm going to share it again. A little heart-shaped thing here, which I think is rather amazing to see all the differences on the screen like that. Seeing which wavelengths reflect in which way, I really like that. And it's absolutely nerding out on pigments, but that's why we're here, right? Let me get back to the chat real quick. Let me see if I can get this. Yes. There was a compliment about PV15 again, Paolo. Thank you. Veronica entering the chat again. Hello. Do you make PO65? It's a beautiful color. I do not make that as a regular thing, but let me have a look if I have it. I do have that, right? 65, 65, 65, 65. That's one I don't have, actually. I'm going to get that, am I not, Mr. Pigments? Was that in between the list? I don't know. Yeah, I put my mic up, Ryder, because I was working on my microscope just a minute before I entered the live stream. Just so that's why I had to put it up. But it still works, right? Thank you, Veronica, for the PB33 that you really like or love. You just sent me a photo of your swatches of my paints, Mark. Then I'm going to have a look at that, and if I can open anything here. I do love this picture. I put it horizontally, but I'm going to yes, what am I going to? Yeah, we can put it here. Thank you for these beautiful swatches of my paints, Mark. Okay, I'm all caught up on a chat. So again, thank you, Mark, for these beautiful swatches of my paints. They look rather, it's really weird of me saying this, but I'm actually, I'm just going to say it, I'm actually quite proud on seeing like such vibrant colors. And actually they came from me, and it's like, it's weird because you're always looking at it like this. Yeah, I put it sideways so I could put it on a little bit bigger in the screen, otherwise it was just a vertical and it made it even smaller. So I put it sideways. I just flipped the image. Is there echo again? I need to check. I need to check some new scenes in my. But I was close to I was leaning forward, so that it is louder, that will be possible, but need to. I need to check that. Where was I? I think I'm going to wrap it up. At least I'm not going to make any more paint. I did show you the differences between, you know, everything cyan-ish, and that's just on swatches. And as a reading, I put all the mics off, but for that scene, for the sharing the screen there and here scene, it might still have the laptop microphone as an optional microphone turned on. Now, I'm very appreciative of it, Sebastian, because those are things, like I said, I can't hear that right now, so I can't quickly change it when I see it, and I'm not seeing it as I'm installing or changing all my new scenes in OBS. Susie, thank you very much for the advice. I know I should really do this in a different way. I've thought about that, but then my mind went too far, and then I thought, you know, maybe let's just print something with a 3D printer, print a little frame which has the pigment number in it, so I can, you know, it's plastic so it doesn't tear, and I can put it on something or in something or on something easily without, you know, being or having to worry that they might damage or something like that. So I went too far with that, too much in a making it a perfect thing, that I didn't do it at all, which makes it a bad thing, I think. So yeah, it's a great idea. I need to have a look at that. So I'm going to, I'm thinking about making a new video. I really have that Maya video on my list that I really had to make a while back. But then again, already working on trying some things for an Indian yellow video. So I need to have a look what my next video will be for about pigments, about paint making and pigments and stuff like that. But I'll have a look. I have a lot of PR2, no, not a lot. I have enough of PR206. Now I'm using my spectrometer as a mouse, which is really not a mouse. Oh, that's a very, very, very good question, Sebastian. If anyone knows the answer, please let me know. I know that people use two... Ian, welcome. I know that people use a separate piece of black paper and a separate piece of white paper. I know that there are some inks that could be printed on it or stamped on it that don't give off and are a perfect black, which doesn't change the absorbance stuff of the paper. There is also a tool for it, and now this is not happening, is it? No, it's not happening. I have it over here. There is a special tool for it. So, if it wants to... This is that tool. So, this is not a Pigment gauge, obviously. This is something that measures micrometers, 25, 50, 75 and 100, and measures it by the difference of height in the structure over here and the side. So as you can see, let's look at the 100 here. There is more difference between the side and the beam than in the 25, where you can barely see a difference. So what this does, you put this paint here and you just swipe it over here, and it makes an entire straight-ish line of that thickness of that 25, 50, 75 or 100 micrometers. So it's instead of using this and having the micrometers from 100 to a 0 and measuring where it kind of stops, this is not measuring, this is knowing the thickness because it's one of the sides, and it's just swiping it down and making that nice thing that Golden always shows on their pages, because I think of that or brand when we're thinking about this. Why do I have it? Well, it's a paint making tool, and I loved it when I saw it, so had to buy it, I guess. I don't know. Or I also bought something else. I can show you. It's probably a bit heavy. I still need to watch out with my shoulder, though the inflammation is doing fine. Thanks for asking, everyone. No, I'm just kidding. It's getting better, though. I need to be careful, but I want to show you something which I think is really cool. What are we talking about? Oh, that's my cap. PR206 is discontinued. It's not being discontinued. It is discontinued. Just going to come back at. JE, you bought a ton of PR206. Okay, so I know where to find you if mine runs out, right? You're sharing, right? That's what I'm getting at here. paint manufacturers stopped producing. Well, actually, paint manufacturers stopped producing paint made of it because the pigment was being discontinued. We as artists, paint users, makers, whatever, in the artistic industry are on the bottom of the food chain when it comes to pigments. So pigments are not being discontinued because we don't use them anymore. We stop using them because they are being discontinued and we just cannot get them anymore. That's just it. And PR206 or any quinacridone pigment, Mr. Pigments can talk about this way better than I can, but they're being discontinued because it's just too either expensive or difficult to make them compared to the alternatives that we have for the uses that it is used most for. So that was a long sentence and I'm not sure if that was grammatically correct, but bottom line, there's a lot of earth tones that are a lot cheaper to produce. We have a lot more of, and they give us the same effect. And I'm just saying earth tones as, you know, synthetic iron oxides. They're giving us the same effect in some finishes. And no, not in watercolors. But we're at the bottom of the food chain, so yeah. Is 206 relatively easy to make? Well, that was my 2 cents, but so I want to just please continue or react on what I just said, or continue about anything. I'm going to show you something. And it's quite heavy, but it's very heavy actually. I'm going to show you this. So I bought this. This is a ceramic tumbler with, it is very heavy, still liquid inside of it, filled with ceramic bowls used to mill pigment. So this is also a thing that dispersions, how dispersions are made, but also how to mix pigments in the old day. This is from 1890, I think, so it's 130-ish years old. And I saw this and I just couldn't keep myself and say, okay, I'm not going to buy this. But this I don't even know how to use it. It was put on a roller machine. Just, you know, the rock tumblers. You know the rock tumblers, right? This is a big version of it, a professional version of it, filled with ceramic bowls. I think like 200 ceramic bowls, and oh, I love it. Yeah, they're modern. There's like, I've seen pictures of the exact size things of this being used. It's a bowl mill, yeah. But this is ceramic, so you can use it for stones or rocks or anything. But it's a piece of an antique pigment paint making thing that I just, and it cost me next to nothing. Well, 25 euros, next to nothing, but that's, I don't know, for something of 130 years old, still filled with ceramic bowls and stuff like that, it's like, it's amazing. need to put my bone back in the socket. It feels like it's not true, but... And there's PO47 as well, and no, I think that's it. I think that's it. Discontinuing PV19 is like... Well, there's nothing like it, I think. It's like discontinuing PBR7, which is a natural pigment, but it's too much of a... There's a lot of violets, reds, scarlet-like reds, deep reds, magentas, all being lost there with PV19, so no. We're not going to think about that. Oh, there's one thing I do like to share with you. Am I going to share this with... No, I'm not going to share this with you. That was a tease. Sorry about that. No, I'm not going to share it with you. I'm going to share it with you when I know more about it. This was like nothing, and no one was helped by that statement. I did order, no, I can share that. I did order a custom muller by Thomas Petit that makes glass mullers. An extra, I asked him for an extra wide one. With a color that isn't really a color, but I haven't seen it before from him. So I did order that, and I'm going to just share which color because I haven't shared the other thing. I'm going to share this. I asked him to put. I don't know if you know Thomas Petit. Look him up on Instagram. He makes amazing mullers and barons. I asked him for an extra large one because this one is great for lives, and I am going to use that for lives. So I think my widest muller right now is this, which is, I think that's my widest muller. Right, my heaviest muller is this, but that's because it's massive. This is wider, isn't it? From the base on, it's like from the flat side. Looking at the flat side, it's a lot wider. So this is my widest muller. This is my heaviest muller. Bye, Paolo. Thanks for joining. Hopefully see you next week again. As I was saying, I asked him to put a white swirl in the... he makes beautiful like swirled patterns inside the muller, and I asked him to make a white swirl in it. Why? I love the colors, but I need to think practical as well. Mark, are you going as well? I want to see if my mullers are clean. So that's why I'm not leaving yet. Like, or is Sylvie leaving as well? That's fine. It's fine. If you want to leave, just leave. But and Ryder is going as well. This is getting so confusing. I'm just going to make noise now. Just ignoring everything. I'm just making noise. Sorry about this. No, bye, Mark. I asked Thomas to make a white swirl in it so I can see if my muller is clean or not. So I think practical, but also thinking artistically. I don't want to have a clear one like this. I have clear ones, and this is obviously different glass than this. As you can see, this is way older than this as well. But Sylvie wants to ask something, so fire away, Sylvie. Now, bye Rick, enjoy your coffee, I think. Yes. Just going to put these back. Oh, dude. Let me have a look if I have that one. Bye, Rick. See you next week, hopefully. I don't have that one in particular, I think. Well, I think, you know, with mulling, if you're happy, why wouldn't it be enough? And if your glass is matte now, you know, it's a bonus. You could always use the trick that I've showed during the last live with the palette knife on your slab to see, well, what Jay is saying, the Hackman gauge, if you can see if there's any like larger particles in it. And Sebastian, we could do a live showing each other's collections. It feels like smeargelpapier. Let's just do, and this is not, I'm not going to make it late or long or whatever. Just going to do a tiny bit of slate that I have here. And a tiny drop, because that's the only thing we need to know your answer. If it ever gets smooth, well, it doesn't matter how much we mull. Well, this one does. It's already there. I think it really depends on the slate, to be honest, because this one's barely visible. It's super smooth, and it is a light one, I have to admit, but it's slate nonetheless. It even smells like a slate pigment. Just smells like wet rock, I guess. Sorry about this. This wasn't useful at all. Well, as a quick answer, it's possible to get smooth, because if they can grind it this smooth, it's, you know, it's possible. But graugrünliche. Oh wait, graugrünliche. I have the graugrünliche version somewhere. Right? Schiefermehl. Is this one? Is that 4920 product number? please do confirm if it's 49. So yes, okay, so I have it. There we go. I don't know why that was a weird accent. It's getting too late. It's been over. Oh, it's not 40. It's not that one. It's 11 to 82. 11 to 82. Really? Okay, this is another slate. Let me just try it with another slate. What is the original mauve purple? Is that... It's the smell again. It's so... Oh, I can never get used to it. Nero Bernino. I know it's... Okay, let me just get my pigment list. Why didn't I do this before? So, there we go. PBK 19, I think. As it is a slate. Jackson Snow. Kramer. There we go. Kramer. I don't have it. Nope, I don't have that version. Because this all sounds the same. And it smells the same. Mauvette. I don't think I have, to be honest. Oh, why do you always get cosmetics when you're searching for anything mauve? Sylvie's, to long answer short and fill experiment here for you. If they can get it this fine, you can get yours finer as well. Thing is, I don't know if you can do that with a muller. So you might want to try more downward pressure on it. If it feels like sandpaper, because this really doesn't. This is really smooth. This is I literally don't feel the difference. But I feel a little bit of a difference, but I don't feel any grit here. There's no grittiness. So you might want to try a bigger muller if you have it, or a pestle and mortar first, and use a lot of downward pressure while mulling or while moving, and a lot of downforce pressure. Just go stand and use that force to get it as fine as possible. That should take about 5 minutes with the roughest pigments that I've tried. With the hardest pigments that I tried. Maybe that's why I have a shoulder inflammation now, because I'm just not being careful with that. But if you use a lot of downward force, I don't know, it helps a lot. But also with some pigments, I don't know, with whom I shared this a while back on Instagram. It's a pretty long while back. They were using a pigment. They were selling a pigment as well. Was someone who was selling it, and she said, "I can't get it any smoother than this. And do you have any advice?" And it wasn't. It's not bragging or anything, but a lot of people ask me for advice when it comes to making paint or working with pigments. And it didn't happen that much back then, but she came to me and said, okay, I saw, I think it was a post. Yeah, you're allowed to say that. I think it was a post I did on that pigment. So she contacted me and said, okay, it's just I've been working 2-3 hours on this, and it's like our measuring spoons were the same as well. Like it's a tablespoon. this tablespoon of pigment, I've been doing it 2 hours, and it's just 2-3 hours, and it just still looks rough and not dispersed at all on my paper. Am I doing something wrong? Is there anything wrong with my binder? So we discussed the binder, we discussed the technique and stuff like that. And eventually we found out the mulling was just done this way. There's enough water to make it flow and let it sit like that. Well, my mulling is just aggressively going, just not head banging, but it's I'm using a lot of force here on my slab to almost get my slab clean of pigment every time I go over it. And I was done within 10 minutes to get it smooth, finely dispersed, dried it with my Heckman gauge, swatched it, looked beautiful, stayed on the paper. So that was just a solution, using more pressure on your slab. There we are. Mr. Pigments, what did you say that made you give any fans here? No, just kidding. Just going to look. I'm like, I think, depending on how fast you drive, but 15 minutes away from the German border. I've heard about it. I don't know it. I'm like an hour and a half away from Rotterdam, I believe. Well, I think everything is relative here in Europe when it comes to distances. But I'd love to do a meeting thing one day with pigment-minded people. I would really like that, actually. That's why I know it. I don't ski myself anymore. I haven't done it a lot, to be honest, but I know people who do, so that's maybe why I've heard of it. I've definitely heard of it. One more thing, Mr. Pigments, Mauvet. Do you have it? Can I have it? Where can I find it? That's not too much, like, too direct. Just going to check it. How far away it is from me. Oh, that's okay. I mean, it's still a long way to drive, you know, looking at... Is it any interesting, Mr. Pigment's Mauvette? Just, you know, wondering. Silvis, I looked, just looked, I think it's about a 3-hour drive, I think, to where you live. What is my heaviest muller? Well, let me have a look. This is not the heaviest. Well, it's definitely the one from 1400. Because, you know, this is 1.5 kilograms. What's the consistency I recommend for tubing paint? Well, tubed paint, that consistency. Mr. Pigments, what kind of conference is that? I want to know. Now let's look at the ancient mullers. One from, well, actually both from 1400 something. 2.5 kilograms and 2.7 kilograms for this one. So in case you did not believe me, we are here. Okay, it wasn't 2.7, 2.65. And a little bit more than 2.5 kilograms, or not? No, a little less. Sorry about that. This was a little bit more than 1.5 kilograms. That was it. Yeah. So this is Ryder, it's just whatever you like. You saw the PB17 being made right here, just now. I think that's the perfect consistency to get into a tube because it was sticky, it was not runny, it was thick, acrylic-like, a heavy acrylic-like texture, and it's really hard for watercolors to do that. Some pigments better than others, or if you have a more runny consistency, find a tube or a syringe, for instance, with a small opening, right? So it doesn't flow out all at once. I want to know one in the Netherlands, Mr. Pigments. I'm showing off my ancient mullers here. Please share it with me. That's just weird. Well, I can do a fundraising here on YouTube, right? Just a few euros or dollars every live from all of you, and we get there. I report back to you about it. It's like, we can do that, right? I actually both found these at a marketplace, online, secondhand online, and I know there's antiquity dealers that have these as well. I know one in Nijmegen actually, over, you know, might know that, over the border. I think it's a he. I've came across 3 different ones from him over the last year, but for me they were overpriced because he know what they were and how much they were worth. This one I actually got for quite cheap, I think. JE, have a great day. Thanks for joining as well. I hopefully see you next week. I'm here every week, same time. Even when I didn't thought I would make it, I made it. So this one is a good one, I think. Okay, no, I don't wanna auto paint stuff. You know, I wanna have like-minded people, or even more deeply knowledgeable people. I could pick their minds of. You know, I'm not into that corner of the niche. It's almost midnight. I know. Thanks for reminding me. This already has been a long live. But yeah, these are amazing. These are amazing. I'm really glad I could find these. And Sebastian, thank you so much. If it even was 5 cents, I would be very grateful. Thank you so much. Well, like this, Mr. Pigments, we can do it like that. Pigment and Color Science Forum. Let's make super chats a thing, right? Thank you so much, Sebastian. Really, out of the deepest depth of my heart, thank you. I think, Veronica, I think I will go as well. Sebastian, again, thank you. I will leave the chat open for a while when I'm just going to carefully put these back and going to clean up. Hopefully I see everyone next week. Maybe I'm just going to make paint with this muller next week. Shall I make paint with this muller next week? Who knows? Maybe I have more news about the secret thing. I wanted to say as well, maybe, if someone comes back to me about it, because I asked them to make a custom something for me, and I'm not talking about a muller, but I haven't heard back from them, so I might be able to share something about that as well. I don't know if this is going to scratch my glass. Maybe I need to also get another surface. The flat surface, this one is rather flat but quite dirty. There's layers of paint here, which I need to get rid of. And this one is quite flat, as you can see, although a little bit dented, but that's just a natural dents in the rock. It's not damaging. It's not like damages, not like this at the side or anything. But I'm not going to use it on glass. When I heard this, I'm not going to use it on glass. I'm going to look for another surface, and I might have something for it. Again, Sebastian, thank you so much, and everyone else, thank you very much for all your input, for the chat, for the lovely talks we had again this week. I'm very glad I made this weekly thing. I'm very glad with you guys, with everyone who joined us and me here during the live. For anyone rewatching this, super chat is also an option after the live stream ended, or a super thanks it's called, I think. And I'm going to look up the Pigment and Science color form thing. just, you know, making a list of things, goals, I guess. I think that's, you know, there are worse things to do. So obviously I will, everything, you know, that if I would ever go there, if I would ever go to another paint factory or pigment manufacturer, or I want to visit Kramer Pigment, for instance. I want to visit the Schminke factory once. I want to visit, you know, a lot of things that take me, that costs a lot of money, costs a lot of time, traveling, stuff like that. I want to go to the Forbes pigment collection, Mr. Pigment's. You know that. We need to go there. Things like that. If I can visit anything like that in any future possible, if it were 10 years from now or 10 weeks, I will report back to you with my findings, with everything I've learned. We'll share it with you, pictures and all. And, you know, yeah, if I'm going to visit Kramer, for instance, the pigment mill there, I will let you. I will definitely let you know. I want to visit the Da Vinci brush factory as well. I want to do a dirty blue brush line or something like that. Or things like that. And, you know, I might need to beg for money for it, Mr. Pigments, for tickets, and, you know, staying there. You know, those are words for a different time. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, that's the one in Nuremberg. I guess it's quite far away for you still as well. Anyway, hopefully see you all again next week. Like I said, I might make paint with this one. I might not. Who knows? See you next week, guys. Thanks for joining.